Okay, we are recording.
All right, what's going on, guys? Happy Monday night. Thank you so much for the privilege of being here and speaking to you guys tonight. I want you guys to know right off the bat that I don't take this opportunity lightly. I know this time is something you can't get back away from your family, so I want you to know that this is going to be loaded with value to help you master this, master your mindset, overcome the negative self-talk that's getting in the way of you becoming the best version of you that you can possibly be, not just in your business, but in all parts of life. So just to make sure you get the most out of this call, just make sure the phones are on silent. You know, whatever you got to do, put the Instagram stories away. If you want to take the picture for it now, post it later, whatever it is, just be fully present here. Make sure your line's muted, and I promise it will be worth your time. And let's start with some participation. What is a really big goal you have for 2019? Type it in the chat box right now. What's a really big goal? And there's a really cool thing about the goal that you're about to type in. There's a way to make it happen. There's a recipe, meaning someone's probably gone before you and done that exact thing. They've created that exact business that you're trying to create. There's a recipe, and you already know that. You know your basic business building activities, but something you might miss is that the way you go about using your ingredients in that recipe is what matters. So what does that mean? It means you can invite 1 billion people, but if your mindset's off, you're actually going to repel them. It means that you can have the best training in the world for your team, but if your mindset's off, they're not going to do anything, right? How many of you guys have ever felt like things have been forced sometimes? It comes down to our mindset. You could put hours and hours and hours into a support group for your clients, but if your mindset's off, they're not going to feel like you're actually trying to help them. And you could even have what you think are massive, massive goals, but if your mindset's off, it's going to be a goal based out of fear instead of a goal based out of who you want to become. So my point in all of this is that what goes on in your mind, your mindset, your self-talk is by far and above the most important piece of your business goals actually coming true. And you've heard that before, right? You've heard the cliche. Type yes if you heard the cliche, change your thinking, change your life. You've heard that. But tonight I'm going to show you how to apply that even when you're in a spot when you don't want to apply it, when you're in a down spot or when your business isn't going the way you want it to. Or have you ever noticed like when you're pissed off, you kind of want to stay pissed off? Or when you're in a sad mood, you kind of want to stay sad. And if someone tries to make it better, you're like, screw you, dude. I don't want you around me right now. You know what I'm talking about? Right? So that's what we're going to talk about, so you can bounce back faster and that negative self-talk doesn't overtake you. And guys, if you could please make sure your line is muted, or at least I'm not sure if you can manage the participants and mute each person individually. I'm getting a bunch of feedback noise over here. So before we go into this, where does negative self-talk come from? Where do these limiting beliefs come from? I'm going to show you with a couple stories from my life where my limiting beliefs came from, how I turned them around, and I have a reason for sharing these stories with you. And then I'll show you a 3-step process for breaking through these challenges so you can apply it to your own life. So see where you can relate when it comes to these stories. So growing up, I had an emotional roller coaster of a childhood. And it gave me really, really messed up beliefs about how life is. And I'm curious, type yes if you can relate to the topic of money stress, whether past or present at any point in your life. Money stress, anyone. That was a huge limitation in my life for a very, very, very long time. I remember my parents would scream and fight and yell about money every day. That is not hyperbole for this call. It was every day. Every day. And I remember my parents would always fight about this. I remember growing up, I was probably like 10 years old. My parents were fighting about why the bank account was overdrafted again. And I go up to my mom and I'm like, Mommy, why do you guys have to fight about stupid money? Right? I'm just a little kid doing whatever little kids do. And in that moment, she screams at me, tells me to go away. And my dad comes over with a soap dispenser and starts pouring soap all over my mom, on her head, down her neck, on her back. And I remember thinking, did money cause this? Like, is it because of money that my parents fought? And I would see my dad like work his butt off to barely get by. There was always too much month at the end of the money. And so I thought money was something you worked your butt off to barely have. And I thought that if you had it, it would tear relationships apart. So you can imagine when I started to build my business, my Beachbody business 7 years ago, for those of you guys that don't know, I was a Beachbody coach for 5 years, built a 5-star business. I love everything about Beachbody. The only reason I'm not doing it is because it's against compliance and I can't do both of these things at the same time. And this is what I'm truly meant to do with my life. But my reason for bringing this up is because you can imagine when I started building my Beachbody business, I wanted 5-star, I wanted elite, I wanted 10-star, I wanted million club, I wanted superstar, I wanted all these things. But money is bad. Do you see how that might mess me up a little bit along the way? And on top of the money, I had a really turbulent relationship with my mom. And I've forgiven my mom. That's a whole other topic. Getting to that point took some time because I was angry and I was sad. But how many of you, type yes, if you have a turbulent relationship with a family member in some way, shape, or form, whether past or present? That was a huge limiting thing in my life for a very long time. I had a really tough relationship with my mom. And the reason is because I never knew what version of mom I was going to get. We're going to get deep tonight, guys. I never knew what version of mom I was going to get. I never knew who I had to be to feel worthy of her love. I never knew what I had to do, if I needed to shut up or if I could be goofy or whatever it was. It was like walking on eggshells. And I was always feeling like, why doesn't mom love me for me? And I would literally need to change who I was just to feel love in some way. So it changed how I lived my entire life. I grew up seeking validation, craving validation from other people. And it messed with all of my beliefs about my abilities. And so I grew up basically thinking that I wasn't enough for people. I wasn't worthy for people. How many of you guys feel like you're not worthy of your dreams in some way? Well, when I tried to build my business, I wanted the big dreams. I wanted to create all of those things, but I'm not enough. Do you see how that might mess with me a little bit, right? And you might have a totally different story. But where can you relate? What limiting belief or beliefs do you have now because of something that happened years ago or a past failure that happened in your business that you haven't changed the meaning of yet? Because when you go through failure or pain or trauma, those things shape your beliefs about yourself, your business, everything. So when I started my business 7 years ago, it didn't matter how many people I invited. It didn't matter how many social media posts I put up. I just always felt stuck. How many of you feel stuck? That's like kind of the vibe that you feel, just stuck in some way. And you don't know how to break through it. And you just see all these other people crushing and you're going, what am I doing wrong? So I had to figure out how to fix it. And I went on a journey of changing my entire life, investing thousands and thousands of dollars that I didn't have into personal growth and development, going to seminars, taking courses, reading books, all this stuff. And I figured out what was going on. And it was so much simpler than I thought. It led me to the career that I'm truly passionate about. It led me to the program that I'll offer you guys at the end. That's how I changed my life. But the reason I tell you all this is because when I started to build my business, the overwhelming amounts of negative self-talk and the lack of belief in myself and the secret obstacles that I didn't even realize were there and other things that I pretended weren't going on, they stopped me in my tracks. So we don't have time to go through the entire system of how to overcome that in 1 hour. But if you take this really seriously, you're going to learn 3 of the major steps that I took to exploding my life. So number 1, put this in your notes. Your thoughts are always the reason. Your thoughts are always the reason. The first thing you can do is change the way you think. And you've heard those cliches, change your thinking, change your life. I'm talking about rewiring the way you naturally respond to challenge in your life. So let's backtrack a little bit. You start to tell yourself stories, right? Money is bad. Building a team is hard. It's so much easier for Lisa. I'm not enough. I'm too fat. Whatever it is. And if you say that crap enough times, what happens? You believe it. You believe it. Actually, your thoughts are always the reason was the title of it. But you believe that. That's what happens, right? So how many of you guys have ever been at a party with your friends over the years, and to sound cooler than you actually are, you exaggerate a story just to get more laughs or more attention, right? I've done that so many times with my friends. And then you go back to a gathering with your friends a couple weeks later, and they ask you to share the story again. Only you share that exaggerated story with more conviction, more belief in that story, even though you don't know if it's real. And then you find yourself 5 years in the future sharing this story that you don't even know is true or not. You know what I'm talking about, or am I crazy? The same thing happens with negative self-talk. Only instead of it being a fun party topic, it will sabotage your whole life. And this is where we start our default software, because whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you will believe whether it is true or not. Whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you will believe whether it's true or not. And if you go through life believing negative self-talk, these stories, it creates inner conflict. It changes the way we lead our life and our business. It causes us to force things, to feel like we're not enough, to feel stuck and we don't know how to break through it. And even if you hit success level, or even if you keep working hard for your dreams, you feel like even if you do achieve your goals, it's still not enough. So how do we change this? Well, obviously, you have to believe that you're enough before the evidence of your business is ever going to say that you're enough. You have to believe that you're a great leader before you're ever going to have teammates flowing in. You have to believe that you're worthy of financial abundance before money's ever coming into your bank account. And that's hard to do if the evidence of your current life is saying the opposite. So how do we beat it? You change these limiting beliefs by changing your questions. Write this down. Better questions will change your entire life. If your life is not a high quality life, it's because you ask low quality questions. Better questions will explode your entire life. If you've ever faced a point in your life where you're trying to convince yourself that you're good enough or that you deserve a big goal or something great, but you never actually believe you can do it, it's because there's a reason for that. So like, it's almost like you want to believe it, right? You have your vision board, your goal setting list, and you're looking at the mansion, the debt-free sign, the 100K sign, all this stuff. You're looking at it and you're like, that would be amazing. It would change my entire life. Everything about my family's future would be different if I had that goal. You know what I'm talking about? Those huge, massive goals that make you go, oh my gosh, that would be incredible. There's that little voice back here, right? That little voice just goes, you're never gonna do that. Right? It like already knows you're going to fail before you even start, just whispering doubt and insignificance into your subconscious mind. We have to change that thinking or else those goals are never coming true. And we can't do it all in an hour, but here's a start. So first, what's thinking? Thinking is nothing more than the process of asking yourself a question. That's all thinking is. Think about what you just did. You go, is that true? That was you thinking about thinking, right? So if you ask yourself bad questions, you get really bad answers. If you ask yourself great questions, you get great answers. A bad question would be, why am I stuck? A great question would be, why am I more than enough? Those are just examples. But the mistake I made is I thought I just had to keep working hard. And yeah, you gotta work hard. But there comes a point when you keep working hard and you're still not getting your dreams when you have all the tools at your disposal. And even if you do happen to get to your dreams and you feel hollow and empty inside, there's a reason. So let's do an example in your life right now to show you what I mean. So look around the room. This exercise is kind of fun. Look around the room you're in right now and count the number of things you can find that are red. Ready, go. Count the things that are red. Look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red. Count the things that are red, look for 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 red. Count the things that are red. Keep looking for red, look for red, look for red. Look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red. Cool. Type in the chat box or hold up your hands. How many things do you find that were red? What do we got? What do we got? How many? 5, 14. Awesome. What else do we got? Type them in. You guys win either way. 9, fantastic. That's great, guys. But question, how many things did you find that were blue? No idea. Why? Because you weren't looking for blue. But check this out. Look around the room you're in right now, and count all the things that you can find that are Beachbody blue. Ready to go. Look for blue. Count the things that are blue. Look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. Look for blue, 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 look for blue. It's everywhere, isn't it? Look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. Keep looking for blue, look 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 for blue. Hold up your hands or type in the chat box. How many more things did you find that were blue? What do we got? How many? A ton, right? Type them in. 7. What else we got? How many? And how many of you, by the way, even saw green and pretended it was blue just so you would feel successful with this exercise? You know who you are, right? How many of you found those things though? You looked for blue. The number doesn't matter, but the point is that when you focus on what you don't want, red, those are the seeds of doubt and skepticism and pain. When you focus on blue, your dreams, those are the seeds of hope, of aliveness, of passion, right? Well, here's the thing. These red thoughts, what you don't want, grow in your mind like weeds. Meaning, if you are ever an asshole to yourself, it's your brain doing its job. So why is that? Why is our natural default setting to be negative? This is why Jim Rohn has a quote that says, stand guard at the gates of your mind or weeds grow automatically. What does that mean? That means that unless you condition your mind to focus on blue, what you want, your dreams, you will automatically find red, what you don't want. And the reason for this, the reason your brain will automatically find what you don't want is because your brain doesn't care if you hit your goals. Your brain doesn't care if you hit 5-star elite, 15-star, become debt-free. Your brain doesn't care. Your brain's primary job is to protect you from pain. It is a survival mechanism. It's a survival mechanism. So unless you condition your mind to focus on your dreams, it will automatically find what's wrong. Automatically. Right? When you think about setting a big goal in your first year of going for elite or whatever it is, your brain goes, whoa, 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 don't go after that goal. That's too scary. Go after a goal you know you can hit. Let's be realistic. Let's play it safe without realizing that realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity. So we need to stand guard at the gates of our mind or weeds will grow automatically. So let's apply this to Beachbody, to your business. Ask yourself this right now. What happens when you ask yourself, why am I not enough to build this business? What happens? What happens when you say to yourself, why am I not enough to build this business? How motivated do you feel? Right? And for most of us, that's what we ask on a regular basis. You don't feel motivated at all. Even when you read positive thinking, self-help books, it doesn't change the fact that you have the voice in your head that says you're not enough. I shared my limiting questions. Why is money bad and why am I not enough a couple minutes ago? What are yours? How many of you guys have ever said something like, why isn't my team doing anything? Or why am I stuck? Or why can't I get it right? Or why is it so hard to lose weight? Or why am I so broke? Or why am I not pretty enough? Or why does it always seem so much easier for other people? Or will I always be this stuck? Be honest. How many of you guys are mean to yourself like that on a regular basis? It does not feel very good to ask those questions, does it? But that's what consumes our mind. Those type of questions consume our mind. And I bet it leads to a lot of pain, a lot of procrastination, and there you are looking at your life so freaking frustrated with the results you're getting, knowing you're meant for more, but no matter how much someone tells you they believe in you, it doesn't matter how many times you hear that because you still have that voice in your head that says you're not enough, right? So how do we change this? Well, when you set a goal, your dominant beliefs determine if that goal comes true. And goal setting is nothing more than the process of trying to create a new reality as opposed to your current reality. That's all goal setting is. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is what you habitually look for. And until that language in your mind is consistently blue, you will find it very, very difficult to get to your goals. And I know this because I lived it. I was stuck for years. So let's do an example as it applies to your life. When you say, why is it so hard to build my business? Notice, try it right now. Why is it so hard to build my business? Try it. What happens? Notice that your brain actually looks for an answer. It looks. Even if you're successful, it still looks. So you start to question yourself. That's how insidious negative self-talk is. Your entire life will change by asking more empowering questions. Your brain is a Google search engine. It will answer whatever you type into that search bar. So what if you intentionally reverse it? If you're gonna get an answer anyways, you might as well intentionally type in a question that's gonna lead to a better life. When you say, why is it so hard to build my business? What does your brain do? It finds all the reasons why it's so freaking hard, and that's what you focus on. And wherever focus goes, energy flows. So you never find the answer to your biggest challenges. When you sit down to work, your brain is literally looking for every reason why you're not capable. So your energy lowers. You feel defeated. You don't send the invites. You wonder why more people aren't messaging you, and you refresh your online office wishing the volume would change, right? And what's crazy is that there's amazing people and opportunities and blue that stumble across your life every day, but because your software is running on why is it so hard, self-sabotage steps in. You won't even notice the incredible opportunities to change your life right in front of you. You won't even notice that woman that's standing behind you in the grocery store checkout line that has high cholesterol, and you could literally save her life with Shakeology if you asked her, but you're looking for red, so you don't find blue. You won't even notice that single dad that's living next door that has no idea how he's gonna pay for his kid's college education, and you have his freedom trapped in your mouth right now because you're looking for red instead of blue. So try this. Why is it so easy to hit Success Club this month? Just try it. Why is it so easy to hit Success Club this month? What happens? You still look for an answer, don't you? You still look. Even if you're brand new, you find all the reasons why you can help 3 people this month. Like, it changes your entire life. You focus on the opportunities, the people you could reach out to, the sacrifices you can make to build your business. Can you imagine if you intentionally flood your mind with blue every day? Your life will radically change. And you don't even need to have the answer. You just need to live in an empowering blue question, and your life will change. Because when you're in the right state of mind and you know what you want and why you want it, the how will always reveal itself. You don't need to know how before you start. You need to start to learn how. Every problem you face is an empowering question you haven't asked yourself yet. So your homework coming out of here in 30 minutes, you're gonna write down all the negative crap you ask yourself all the time. Why am I so broke? Why is my business not growing? Why am I stuck? Why am I so fat? Why do my kids always annoy me? Whatever it is. And you're going to flip those questions to their empowering alternative. This will radically change your entire life. You're going to turn those questions into, why is it so easy to blank? Why am I so wealthy? Why do I love my kids? Why is my business booming? Why is it so easy to lead my team? 2 questions that changed my entire life. Why am I so kind to myself today? That's number 1. Why am I so kind to myself today? And number 2, why am I worthy of living an amazing life? Because life gets 100% easier if you are 1% nicer to yourself, guys. How many of you are parents, by the way? How many of you are parents, by the way? Awesome. I'm going to give you a strategy for being more patient with your kids in just a second. How many of you guys are in a relationship or married? How many of you guys are in a relationship or married? All right, this is going to help you guys a lot. What you're going to do is you're going to take these new empowering questions and you're going to flood your mind with it, because when you focus on blue, what do you not notice? You don't see red. You don't see why you can't. But when you focus on red, what you don't want, what do you never find? You never find your dreams. So you are going to intentionally flood your mind with blue. I'm talking Post-it notes all over your house. My wife probably thought I was crazy. I literally recorded my new empowering questions that I wanted to lead me to a better life on my phone. And I listened to them while I slept. Disclaimer, don't choke yourself with the headphone cord. But I listened to them while I slept at night. And I literally flooded my mind with my dreams, of questions that would lead me to my dreams. So if you guys are parents, right, and you get easily annoyed with your kids, what would happen if you had an alarm that went off on your phone 5 minutes before they woke up from a nap or got home from school that said, why is it so easy to be a patient and loving mother today? What would happen? What would happen? Everything would change. Everything would change. You wouldn't let the stress of the day affect how you parent your kids. You'd actually be patient. They'd feel more presence with you, and they would actually live more confident lives because mom was around to love them instead of pushing them away whenever they got annoying, right? Or if you're in a relationship, what would happen if you had an alarm that went off on your phone 5 minutes before your spouse got home that said, why is it so easy to fall in love with my spouse again today? Can you imagine the passion that would explode in your relationship? I ask myself that question every day. And I have an amazing relationship full of love and passion and kindness, and it's incredible from that one question. What would happen to your life? So you're going to flood your mind with this any opportunity you can, when you're walking the dog, when you're doing the dishes, anything. Because if you look for blue, you never find red. And if you don't find red, you actually have the mindset to get you to your dreams. Your life will change if you do this. That's a promise, a guarantee, not a matter of if, it will. Is this one mindset strategy helpful? Think you can use this in your life and your business? Awesome. I have 2 more for you guys. Number 2, write this down. And this is huge, huge for you guys, especially the achievers of the group. Actually, everyone. So your problem isn't the problem. How you face your problem is the problem. Your problem isn't the problem. How you face your problem is the problem. What does that mean? Well, when you're so emotionally attached to a goal coming true, you actually push that goal away from you. Now, don't take this to mean that you shouldn't be excited or passionate about your goals. You should be about your goals. What I mean is, when your happiness is dependent on a goal coming true, you're making that goal so much harder to achieve. So much harder to achieve. How many of you have found yourself pushing for goals and it's like it's evading you in some way? It's like it's just out of reach every time and you don't know why. Or how many of you even achieve goals and then feel empty inside? This is the elite coach that feels like they didn't do enough. This is the perfectionist that finishes their to-do list and feels like they didn't get anything done, right? It's because you are attached to your dreams instead of committed to your dreams. It's because it must happen and then you can be happy. When you think that way, how do you feel all the time? Horrible. Horrible. Pretty crappy, right? Your self-worth takes a hit. No matter what you do, compounding negative self-talk. And whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you what? You believe. All those negative stories are amplified in your head. And so you actually believe that you're not a good leader and you can't do this when it's bullshit. When you try to build a business that way, isn't it incredibly overwhelming and intense and stressful to try to solve that? How do you do it? It's defeating because you have no idea what to do, so you start to accept it when it's not true. Remember, your challenges are just a blue question. That's it. They are not responsible for your happiness. Huge important note here, and this is the overarching focus of everything I teach in my program that I'll offer you guys in a few minutes. Business, success, and money will not bring you happiness unless you are already happy. Business, success, and money will not bring you happiness unless you are already happy. Happiness causes success. Happiness causes money. Happiness causes all of those things. Happiness and appreciation for the journey you're on and the challenge is how you overcome the challenge. Most people don't get that. I didn't. It's why I stayed stuck for so many years. You don't need to find the answer because where you are right now is the answer. Right? What I did is I said I should be somewhere else. I should be here. I should be there. I should be at a higher income, and I was shooting all over myself. And I just found myself stuck, wishing life would change, wishing it was different, without appreciating where I was right now. And guys, that's abundance 101. You hear that term thrown around in my industry all the time, abundance. What does it mean? It means you are genuinely in love with where you are right now in your life, and you're excited about what you're going to create. What's scarcity? Scarcity is I'm not okay with where I am, and I'm afraid I'm never going to get to where I want to be, right? So if you don't see where you are right now as a wonderful thing, you are literally pushing away the lesson that's going to give you freedom. You're literally keeping yourself in the same spot because seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. Step into the common sense corner for a second. If you're God, the universe, whatever you believe in, are you going to give more to the person that's complaining about having less? Or are you going to give more to the person that loves everything they already have, including the challenge? Who are you going to give more to? The person that loves everything they already have, including the challenge. When you say, I should be somewhere else, you push away the lesson that will get you to where you want to be. You are exactly where you need to be to learn what you need to learn to live the life you're meant to live. And until you think about it that way, you're going to find yourself stuck. And what's awesome about this one skill is it means you don't have to work nearly as hard for exponentially better results. Because instead of slamming down on that gas pedal to get to your destination, wishing you were there and just smoke's going out your tires and you don't know why you're not going anywhere. And Julie signed up last week and she's flying by you on the highway to success. She's already diamond and you don't know what's going on. You realize the only thing that's going on is just that your emergency brake is on. That's it. You don't need to push down harder. You got to get out of your own way. You got to release that emergency brake of your life. Most people will try to climb this big mountain of success, saying like, play ball with me here, saying, I'll be happy when I get to the top, right? Put your dream on top of a mountain. The problem with that is it's the same thing as trying to climb a mountain with a blindfold on. Because when you're climbing a mountain, there's going to be ups and downs, peaks and valleys, right? There's going to be a lot of legs burning. And if that blindfold is on, and you need to get to the top right now, you're going to ditch the trail and sprint to the top. You're going to break a leg. You're going to trip. You're going to fall. You're going to die. Even if you do happen to get to the top, you're going to feel miserable inside because you won't see any of the beauty around you. So what if instead of being so attached to that dream, you become committed to that dream? You decide to go on this hike for the experience of hiking, not just the summit. Meaning, from now on, you do your vital behaviors for the person you become, the growth you experience along the way. Because when you're hiking out west, and it's twists and turns and ups and downs and peaks and valleys, even if that trail is going away from that summit, the entire time, you still enjoy it, don't you? Even if it's not one straight line to the top. You still enjoy it. You appreciate the scenery, all that stuff, and you're more relaxed along the way. Why? Because you're committed to the climb and not just the peak. Everything changes. How would that affect your mood every day? How would that affect your business? How would that affect your marriage? How would that affect your invites? How will that affect everything? You're living your life from a happy, committed state instead of a stressed, frustrated, attached state. Everything will change. Be committed to your goals, not attached to your goals. You do this for the experience of hiking, not just the summit. And if you live that way, even if you're going downhill away from the top, a coach quits, you get a return order, you drop in rank, you learn something instead of hate something. You learn something instead of hate something. And then when you learn something, you get to those dreams so much faster. That feeling of forcing things, forcing that energy to invite, forcing those posts, it's going to go away. You're going to feel pulled towards your dreams. You're going to feel alive again. Your energy is going to become contagious again. And when you have contagious energy, guess what happens? People actually want to be part of your life. They actually want to join you. You know what doesn't attract people? Low energy frustration, stress, overwhelm, fear. People are not going to join your business if you feel that way on a regular basis. So that feeling is going to go away and you'll feel pulled towards your dreams and alive again. You know those people that like walk into a room and they light it up even if they don't say a word? You know what I'm talking about? I'm not saying that you have to be outgoing. I'm saying that you feel alive on the inside. You know what I'm talking about? Those people that light up the room, you're going to become that. And it's going to make success so much easier. So I can't get into the full system of how to do that in a 1-hour call. But I can give you one final tip that's going to make living that way so much easier. Number 3. I call this the secret sauce. The secret sauce. But you might know it as genuine gratitude. Genuine gratitude. By a show of hands or in the chat box, how many of you have a deep, heartfelt, emotional gratitude practice every day? Deep. I'm not talking about where you just jot a couple things in a journal to feel better about your day. I'm talking about a deep, genuine gratitude practice, because that's what most people do, right? They stress out all day long and focus on red, and then they write 3 things in a journal as a to-do list item to feel better, don't they? That's not gratitude. If you actually feel it, then it's gratitude, of course. But most people just rush through it. Deep, genuine gratitude is one of the greatest success tools you will ever experience in your life. Gratitude is a money tool. Gratitude is a business tool. Gratitude is a marriage tool. Gratitude is single-handedly the greatest success tool that you could ever use. Why? Because it's literally impossible to feel emotional pain if you're grateful. You cannot feel frustration, anger, jealousy, envy, overwhelm, fear, anxiety, even depression if you are grateful. You literally cannot feel those things while you are in a deep state of gratitude. Literally impossible. It's like trying to be sad and jumping up and down in the mirror naked. You can't do both at the same time, right? It doesn't work, right? So what I mean though, is it's got to be real gratitude. Otherwise it's not going to happen. Why? Because when you look for blue, your dreams, and you're grateful for where you are, seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good, right? That's where it comes into when you focus on your dreams, being grateful for the life you have now. That's where it comes from. So one of the best ways to do this is to have some perspective. So think about this right now. You're watching a video about mindset from anywhere in the world, UK, US, Canada, but anywhere in the world really. You're probably in a safe house with a lock on the door, locks on your windows. You probably have a blanket on, maybe you're at a desk or whatever it is. You probably, have a clothes that you can put on tomorrow and go to the store or whatever it is. You probably have a doctor you can take your kids to get treated for medical care. You probably have a vet you could take your dog to get treated for some sort of, or get their shots or whatever it is. And you'll probably turn on your Apple TV tonight and watch Friends or Marie Kondo's Tidying Up or whatever it is that you're into. And most of you will take that for granted. When someone's baby is not going to wake up tomorrow, when there are people out there injecting needles into their arm to cope with pain, when someone's going to literally kill themselves in the next 7 minutes, when there are countries out there that live in communism, when 2/3 of the world live on $900 a year, $2.50 a day. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? If you can't pay your electric bill, you are rich beyond measure, because if you're in the bottom 1% of this country, you're in the top 1% of the world. Have some perspective that if you're broke, you're not broke. We have the tendency to let go of gratitude and make it a rule that we can only be happy if something happens, if that next thing happens. And just like we talked about a minute ago, that is setting you up to suffer. We're so accustomed to the miracles happening around us that we don't even see them as miracles anymore and don't appreciate how literally everything around us was once an idea. If you can live with any single takeaway from this entire talk, it's the following sentence. If you live this, it will change your world. Write this down, bold it, live it, your life will change. Ready for it? It's so simple, but so profound. Nothing needs to happen in order for you to be happy? Nothing. And as long as you believe something does, you're never going to live the life you want. You're never going to live the life you want. As long as you structure your life in a way where your happiness is dependent on something you don't control, what your spouse says, how your rank or your success club goes or whatever it is, you're never going to be fulfilled in the way you want. You could get your to-do list done and feel like you're losing. You could be winning at life and feel like you're losing because the scorecard you are measuring success with is unfair because it only allows you to feel happy if something happens. And achievement without gratitude is total failure. Achievement without gratitude is total failure. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how successful you are. If you are successful but you're not happy, you failed. You're a failure. That's what it is. Just have some perspective. You're breathing. Some people aren't. You're alive. Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough to feel happy about? And if you're smiling and you're happy, business becomes so much easier. So much easier. Like exponentially easier than that stressed out feeling. A lot of us have these high expectations of our spouse, our kids, our team, our volume, our sales. And when our life conditions, meaning the way life is right now, doesn't match up with how we think it should be, we get frustrated, right? We have these rules of what needs to happen in order for us to feel happy. You gotta let that go. Gratitude is one of the ways to do that. And I'm not talking about the to-do list gratitude where you rush through it. I mean real, genuine gratitude. Because if you don't have 5-10 minutes for yourself to feel gratitude, you don't have a life. Practice genuine gratitude because your view of life literally determines your future. So every single day, condition this into who you are, and slowly the anxiety, the overwhelm, the depression, the fear, the negative self-talk, it's gonna go away and you're gonna become excited every day. And just like Lisa said, it makes life fun too. You are talking to someone who went through a period of time where I knew what I wanted so bad, but I'd be on the couch like binge watching Friends like 4 days a week, wishing my life would change, wanting things to be different. I had all the tools I needed, but my laptop was staring at me going, dude, change your life. But I just didn't care, but I cared so much at the same time. And I would get in these overwhelmed states where I had to do things perfectly. And if I didn't, I felt down and depressed and useless. Then I felt guilty for feeling that way. And I had to be perfect again. Then I got into these depressed states on the couch, wishing my life would change. And even worse, I was pissed off at myself that I was depressed. I was pissed off at myself for being less than I could be. I was pissed off at myself having everything I needed to change my life, knowing I was meant for so much more than mediocrity, but settling because I couldn't get myself to act it from practicing what I will teach you in my program, and I'll offer that in just a couple minutes. You fast forward to now, and I'm actually this annoyingly happy on a regular basis. Like actually this annoyingly happy on a regular basis. It didn't happen right away. It was over time. It went from, instead of 4 times a week, those depressed states, it was 1 time a week. And it was 1 time a month, 6 months, year. And now it's natural. And yes, there are times once in a blue moon where I get the whole depressed and useless feeling that day and down and whatever it is, but I can get out of it in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And I'd like to take you through an exercise right now to show you how to do that. Can you imagine what it would do for your life if instead of taking a week to bounce back, it took you 2 minutes? How would everything be different? What I learned from my mentor, Tony Robbins, this is his exercise, I did not create this. What I learned from him is that you can solve most challenges in your life in 2 minutes. Most challenges in your life you can solve for 2 minutes, or find direction to a challenging time using the skill of gratitude. Don't mind the dog barking in the background. Using the skill of gratitude. So I'm going to take you through an exercise called heart breathing. You don't need to fully understand this, but what they found was when people were trying to solve problems from a state of stress, they measured the EKG and the EEG at the same time. And the heart waves and the brain waves were jagged, all crazy, intermixed on the chart. It was chaos on the screen. And they didn't solve their challenge. But when they got into a deep state of genuine gratitude and they measured the heart waves and the brain waves at the same time, they were perfectly aligned and smooth. Perfectly aligned and smooth. And on top of this, they solved their challenge like that. You can find more research on this in the book, The Heart Math Solution by Howard Martin. But this is why gratitude is actually a business skill. So get somewhere where you can allow yourself to feel totally vulnerable, totally emotional. If you know that you're distracted right now by other things around you, TV, other people, get in a different room. I'm telling you, this exercise can be so powerful in your life if you let it. If you know from being on camera, you're not going to play all out, turn your camera off. Be fully present with this exercise. Do it. It will change everything if you play all out. But I'm telling you right now that if you don't play all out with this, it's a waste of your time. Okay? So get somewhere where you need to get to feel totally emotional, totally vulnerable. And I want you to start to think of something in your life that stresses you out on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 7 or higher. What's something in your life that stresses you out right now on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 7 or higher? And think of that thing right now. What is that thing for you? That stressor that you don't know how to solve? Is it money challenges? Is it spousal challenges? Is it overwhelmed kids? Is it, what is it? What is it for you? What's that challenge? Is it a business challenge? Raise your hand if you have your stressor. Jane, if you have your stressor. Everyone got your stressor? Okay. Shake your body out. Sit up nice and tall. No slouching. Sit up nice and tall. Okay? Close your eyes. Just trust me in this. Play all out here. Close your eyes and take both your hands and physically put them on your heart for a moment. Physically put your hands on your heart, and as you breathe, breathe deep into your heart. Actually imagine the air flowing in your nose, through your heart, and back out your mouth. Another one. A really big deep breath in your nose, through your heart, and back out your mouth. And keep breathing that way. Keep feeling your heart. Keep breathing deep in your heart, and put all the focus and intentionality on your heart. And feel the power of it for a moment. Feel the strength of it, the beauty of it, the gift of it. Think of what your heart has guided you to do or to be or to give or to share. You didn't have to buy your heart. You didn't have to earn it. Something thought enough of you to give you this amazing gift of life the moment you were born. It beats 100,000 times a day without you having to do anything for it. You have inherent worth because you have this gift of life. So take a moment and just feel so grateful that this heart is beating in your chest right now. Just appreciate it. Just love it. Feel so much appreciation for this amazing gift of life you have. And now, go back to one of the best memories of your life. Any moment, any amazing memory that you can feel such deep feelings of gratitude for. Is it when you said, I do? Is it when you had your first baby? What's that moment for you? But instead of seeing that moment from the outside, step back into that moment like you're there. Relive that moment. See what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt then now, feeling so grateful, so happy, so appreciative, and just take that memory, feel it, and live it, and breathe that memory into your heart right now. Feeling so grateful, knowing this feeling is within you whenever you want. Now go to a second memory. What's another memory in your life that you can feel unbelievably deep feelings of gratitude for? What's that moment for you? It could be 10 years ago, it could be today, it doesn't matter. What's that moment? Step into that moment like you're there, not from the outside, first person all over again. Relive that moment. See exactly what you saw right in front of you. Breathe the same way you did then. See what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt. Relive it and love it and take it all in and cherish that amazing memory in your life. Breathe that into your heart right now. Feeling so grateful, knowing this memory is within you whenever you want. And now maybe a coincidence. What's something in your life that you didn't expect to happen, but it did? You were in line at Starbucks and you met the love of your life. You didn't mean to get pregnant. Now you have an amazing family. You got a message on Facebook and you found your dream business. What's that coincidence for you? Think of everything it led to. Why is your life a gift now because of that beautiful coincidence? Was that actually a coincidence, or were you being guided? Because it's so beautiful when you adopt a belief that life is always happening for you and not to you. Even the problems, they're gifts because they lead to a more elevated version of you. So take a moment and feel so grateful for what that coincidence led to in your life and how your life is so much better off because of something that you didn't make happen, but it was placed in front of you, feeling so grateful. And know that this feeling's within you whenever you want. And now try to well this gratitude up within you right now. Feel that gratitude for your heart beating 100,000 times a day. Gratitude for that first memory. See it all over again. That second memory. See it all over again. That coincidence. See it all over again. And try to triple the amount of overwhelming gratitude and appreciation you have for this amazing gift of life for a moment. Take it all into your heart and feel it spreading in every direction throughout your body, circulating through your body, out through your hands, your arms, your legs, into the ground, every direction, just feeling so grateful, welling up with so much energy and appreciation, and just say thank you. Just appreciate this life for a moment. Just love this gift of life for a moment. And now from this beautiful state, from your heart, not your head, from your heart, go back to that stressor that you totally forgot about. Go back to that stressor, and from your heart, complete the following sentence. In this stressful situation, all I need to remember is blank. From your heart. In this stressful situation, all I need to remember is blank. In this stressful situation, all I need to do is blank. In this situation, all I need to say is blank. And ask your heart for the answer to that challenge. Ask your heart for direction to that challenge, feeling so grateful, so alive, so happy, knowing that your heart is always guiding you in the right direction. And when you feel like you have some sort of guidance, some sort of direction, come back on camera. Come back on camera. Be present here. How many of you guys found some sort of direction to a challenging time in a couple of minutes? How many of you guys felt something real from that? And if you didn't, that's okay. Go back and do this again when no one's watching. Go back and do this again when you're totally alone. But guys, if you felt something real from that, that's the real you. That's the you that's not dominated by fear. That's the you that can solve any challenge, because you have one shot in this life, one. And most people will go through life in the state of learned helplessness and just quiet desperation, never really going for it. You're not that person. Your life could literally end at any moment. Literally end at any moment. You don't control the length of your life, but you do control its depth and its meaning. You were not put here to experience mediocrity. You're meant to feel fully alive every second of every day. And I can actually teach you how to do that, how to actually feel happy so you live that way on a regular basis, because you're exactly where you need to be right now. Instead of just knowing that, all you have to do to change your entire world is make this part of who you are. And when you do, game over. The game changes forever, guys. What if that was your default setting? What if this could be coached into you? So your natural way to think and feel was from a state of peace. What would happen to every part of your life? If that's something, guys, that you feel like just mastering this, and especially this, is something you feel you need to take to that next level, if it's okay with you, I'd just love to share for 2 minutes about an opportunity I have for you guys to further that level of education, something Lisa and I have prepared for you to learn how to do it. We barely scratched the surface tonight. Barely. We talked about one topic out of so many. The reason if you push hard for these goals and they get further away, or it seems so much easier for other people, and some days you crush it, some days you don't. You keep hearing, just keep working at it, but you don't know why you can't do it. And you have all the trainings, but you don't know why you're not getting to where you want to be. Or even if you do happen to get to where you want to be, you're still not happy, and you can't figure out what's stopping you from having success, but more importantly, happiness. I've created a course that will break you through all of it, and I mean all of it. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Beachbody coaches in this program, created by a former Beachbody coach for coaches. The reason you feel stuck is inner conflict that needs to be resolved. That's it. Negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, lack of worth, all those things keeping you stuck in the same spot. You hear the cliche, change your thinking, change your life. Appreciation Academy teaches you how to change your thinking. It teaches you how to be happy, how to attract success instead of repel it. And because your leader is amazing, I'm going to give you guys a 50% off discount on this program. 50% on this program for both the payment plan or the full pay option if you feel this is a good fit for you. And by the way, if things are tight, whether it's through me or through someone you trust more, if things are tight financially, that's exactly why you got to invest in your growth, because you cannot change your mindset, or you cannot change your life from the mindset that got you to where you are now. And that's why I have a 90-day guarantee on this program. Do you guys know who Jen Richardson is? 15-star diamond coach, million club member, 4-time elite coach says, and I quote, Appreciation Academy is the missing link that every Beachbody coach needs to finally see success in their business. Do you guys know who Micah Folsom is? Double 15-star diamond coach. She says, and I quote, if you're doing all the things and you're still not where you want to be, or if you have the goals but you're still not happy, you absolutely must invest in Brad's program. I can go on and on with testimonials. It is endorsed by literally the best of the best in the Beachbody world. My goal is not to impress you, it's to impress upon you. This affects everything: marriage, business, bank account, happiness, stress level, everything. It rips away the layers of pain, preventing you from who you are meant to be. And it's not a business training. It's not a business training. That stuff doesn't work until you master this, and especially this. This gets to the core of what's stopping you. It teaches you how to finally believe in yourself without having to fake it, how to silence the inner demons once and for all, and how to live every day with an actual smile on your face that you don't have to fake. And I will not disappear on you. I will not betray your trust. Just like we talked about, guys, business and success do not bring you happiness. Happiness creates success. And this is the only course I've ever seen that teaches you how to be genuinely happy. It's how I went from stuck to where I am now. It is 7 years of personal growth packed together, so you don't need to wait nearly as long. And the results of the hundreds of people in this program speak for themselves. So if you felt something real, if you've been living in a memory that says you're not enough, if you've been spinning your wheels and don't know what's going on up here and especially in here, it's time we break through that. In this course, I will teach you how to do that. So Lisa has the information on this course. She's going to post on your team page right if we get off the call. For those of you guys eager to get started, all you got to do is head to bradbizjack.com/team call. Again, bradbizjack.com/team call. There's a little opt-in page that'll help me keep track of where each coach comes from, which team. I do a lot of these calls. Helps me keep track of what team you're from. The next page is the sales page with all the information, the pricing, all that stuff. But guys, give it a shot. You have a 90-day guarantee in this program. It'll change your entire world. So I'd like to say thank you so much for the privilege of serving you tonight. Thank you for being here. I hope you took so much away from this, and I really hope to see you in Appreciation Academy. Lisa, I will turn it back to you, my friend.
Thank you, Brad. That was awesome. Got tears in my eyes. So I will, I'm going to wrap because everybody's probably ready for bed, and I know you have another call too. So I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording. But guys, I will go ahead and post in our team page, just as a follow-up, as Brad said, with all of his programs and everything that's available for all of us. So I will post that. And I hope everybody has a wonderful night. Thank you guys for jumping on. And I will be seeing everybody soon.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Night, girls.
Bye.